In this analysis, I'm taking a look at some of the swing mechanics of Viktor Hovland, exciting young player and winner of the recent Dubai Desert Classic. What you'll notice with Viktor's start position is clear evidence of thoracic kyphosis, this sort of rounding of the top part of the spine at address. And it's interesting how that does have an impact on how Viktor moves, which we will explore a little bit later in this sequence. I'm just going to put Viktor's starting shaft plane here at address so that you can actually see how Viktor's initial movement away from the golf ball is slightly under. And if you watch carefully what happens with Viktor's trail wrist, you'll see how it ever so slightly increases in extension, with the left lead wrist increasing in flexion, and this combines to create quite a closed club face position in that, depending on which reference system you use, in that P2 position where the club shaft is beginning to reach parallel to the ground for the first time on the way back. This movement in Viktor's trail wrist is really interesting because what actually happens is wrist function early on in the movement of a golf swing does have an impact on how the humeral head behaves. And what you'll notice is Viktor moves the club to sort of halfway back with lead arm parallel. You'll see how Viktor's trail shoulder begins to elevate and work upwards in the vertical plane towards the sky, and this combines and matches up with his left arm becoming close to vertical. So if you look at this line here, you'll see how the left arm plane is almost vertical, with the right elbow position just becoming slightly detached from the rib cage. Now, if we just go back, that movement, what some people may describe as a lift, is actually simply a reaction. It's a chain reaction to what's happening with the right wrist being extended. And a lot of people from here would anticipate quite a steep transitional phase to Viktor's swing. But actually what Viktor does extremely well is create depth to his pelvic rotation at top of backswing and then into that transitional phase. So just for a split second, as Viktor is changing direction, you'll see how the right side of his pelvis holds position and retains its original angle. So not only do we maintain fantastic pressure here and connection with the ground, but you'll see how Viktor is then able to shallow the club shaft into this halfway down position. And really it's fascinating to see, if we just circle the hands in this position here, even though the hands are slightly out, you'll see how Viktor delivers the club fantastically well through retention of body angles. And if we just look here where his hands are at impact, you'll see the dynamic lie here of the club is almost a mirror to the address position. We know there has to be an element of rise through the hitting area, but that really is phenomenal how he has returned the club pretty much to its original starting plane. And then you'll see how his hands work left and the loft on the club face is maintained. So really quite a powerful and stable release. You'll see how Viktor's right elbow matches up with the right hip joint into the delivery and then into the impact. And, just a slight increase there in the side bend to allow for that hand path working so far left. But really powerful, really repeatable. And let's hope that Viktor can remain injury-free with the movement here, with the amount of extension in his right wrist on the way back, the steepening of the shaft plane here, the flexion in his lead wrist at the top of the backswing and just there through transition. Just this position here, you'll note. Again, the key word really is tolerance. It's clear that Viktor possesses the tolerance at this stage in his career in the wrist joint to enable such a movement to work in tandem with the correct matchup and the correct matching movement with his body action. Very exciting young player.